Pool versus everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. Happy Friday. One day away to watch the Reds again. Starting out with Thomas Tuchel, whatever his name is. He was right. He was right. It wasn't logical that a guy by the name of Bobby Firmino was able to score a goal and only could open his eye the day of the match. It's not logical. It's not correct. So I agree. It's also not logical that we only beat you by one goal. It's also not logical or correct for most people who believe that PSG were going to run all over us. What's up, Mercy? That PSG are a Champions League favorite, although they have done nothing in the Champions League for I don't know how long. It's also not logical to think that you wouldn't have your team prepared to come and face a team like Liverpool physically and mentally. It's also not logical that you would think that playing in the French league and the teams you go against would actually build you up to play against a team like us. Mame, what's up? What's up, everybody in the chat? So he was right. Thomas Tuchel was right. Everybody can joke about him, whatever. He was right. He was right on. It's not logical and it's not correct. I love this idea that managers, players from other teams. Let's remember Neymar had some things to say about Liverpool. That's cool. Um, that these teams still don't respect Liverpool and still won't, after a game, just say, you know what? This is a really good team. Maybe we underestimated them. They are the team that should be talked about as contenders, not us. Now, people won't say that because that's the world we live in. But it'd be nice to hear someone kind of give us a little bit of respect. But at the end of the day, I think we thrive off that. I think Klopp thrives off that in our players, and I think Jimmy Milner thrives off that. I think to see that he's in his prime now, and that's what I'm seeing, is just it's remarkable. And I think he's a guy who thrives off of people doubting him. And I think we have lots of players on our squad who have dealt with that through their career or are still dealing with that now. So that's something that I think fuels the team. And the more we kind of get that lack of respect put on our name, the better we tend to be. So I'm excited about that and let it continue if it needs to be. When the opposition play badly against us, they don't give us credit, but we made them play badly. Yeah, yeah, that's the truth, and it's more funny to me than anything else. So let them continue with that. European hangover. Apparently, there was some stat that City and Liverpool struggle with games directly afterwards, as opposed to Arsenal, for example, who do really well after their games. Um, it is what it is. If that's an actual factual statement, if that's true, at the end of the day, that is something that we need to make sure we put to bed again. We've done it all season. Team said we couldn't win without Salah being amazing. We've been doing that most of the season, all of the season. You could say pretty much. I know he scored his 2 goals, but obviously he hasn't been the Salah that I think people expected, and it's still early. So I've spoken about it before. I'm not too worried about that, but we do need to make sure we don't have a European hangover. And listen, if things go well at Anfield, which they should, I'm not expecting the Anfield night kind of scenario atmosphere, but it should still be good, especially after what we did against PSG. So hopefully that's not an issue. Hopefully it's not super super quiet at Anfield as we know it can be sometimes. But Southampton could really get a hiding in this game. They could really get a hiding in this game. Their best scorer right now happens to be a former Liverpool player. What do you know? Liverpool, Southampton. We tend to give each other, quality players. Um, Mame and Tuchel was not right. They were arrogant because Cena's favorite Leon is from the French league too, but they came with a different setup and different state of mind. Well, I was kind of being funny, Mame. Of course, he wasn't right. It was idiotic for him to say that, but I mean, he was right in terms of um, we should have scored more. So it wasn't logical. It wasn't correct. We should have totally dominated them more on the scoreboard. We did as far as the game play, and it's funny to hear people, trolls and people in the other comment section saying that we barely beat PSG. Listen, you didn't watch the game. If you think we barely beat Spurs, you didn't watch the game. We beat both of those teams up and down the pitch like they stole something. Beat them like they stole something. If you ever got a spanking when you were a child and your mom just beat you so bad that you felt like, you know what, man, it might be better if I just wasn't living anymore. That's how we did to them. Nicole, what's up? How you doing? Yeah, we're up early this morning, man, just getting started and wanted to talk about some things. But But yeah, we have to be mindful not to have one of these slip ups following a European game. I don't think we will. I think this team is it just seems to be made of something different this season. And the strange thing is that it's most of the same players that are doing it. Sorry that I missed the beginning. No, it's cool. No need to be sorry, man. It's that's the thing. When I'm talking, people might come in, you might not hear it. It's all good. But yeah, I definitely don't think he's right and saying it from the aspect of where he was coming from. I don't think it's not logical or not correct that we beat them. I think it is in other ways that we should have beaten his team more, and he's should be happy. And now he's at war with the PSG sporting director, which tells a lot. And again, is blaming other people but himself. He should have his team ready to play a European game against a team again, strong mentally, strong physically. Look, we might be the most fit team in the world. What is Klopp always talking about? Running. My team's gonna run, and when we run, we usually have a lot of fun. We usually enjoy. Oh, that was a run. We usually enjoy our football when we run, because our players run to death in training, in the preseason, in the summer. So we're the most fit team in the world, probably, definitely in the Premier League, I think, and I think that'll start to show as the season goes on. And hopefully, knock on wood, no injuries. But yeah, all the hangover thing we would definitely want to avoid. I want you guys' opinions on All or Nothing. I know there's some who've probably seen the City All or Nothing and think that Nova, what's up? Did Nabil Fekir's performance not show y'all that man is a beast? I don't think we need to see that performance. Personally, I didn't need to see it to know that he was a beast. And he was the reason for both of those goals. And I think if you really think about it, Leon probably watched some Liverpool matches versus City and the way they pressed them. And this is how you get at City. Call them what you want, as good as they are, whatever. It's surprising to me. Now you got to have some players, and Leon actually have some. Cornet, of course, Nabil Fekir. Their midfield players are very, very underrated. And Dobele, I might be saying his name wrong, and the other guy, I can't remember his name. I keep wanting to say Mendy. It's not Mendy. Anyway, they got a really, really nice, strong, tight midfield duo. I still deride that dude. You still deride that dude? I don't know what that means. But yeah, no, they got to. So you got to have something about you, right? As a team, you can't just go. You can't be Brighton, try to press City or Cardiff and try to press City and think you're gonna really win anything. But on the European stage, I think the blueprint is there, and hopefully more teams decide to do that, and more so to expose City. Now they're a good team, I get it and all that, but they're not this kind of team that other squads should be scared of, especially not in the Champions League. So, they're at the bottom of their group now, and you'd like to think that City probably would end up winning it, or at least coming second, coming out of that group. But you just never know. You just never know. So, Dick Ride means I give them to. Oh, you said D Ride though. I wasn't. Okay, I got you now. I got you. But no. I mean, for me, Fekir, everyone could see that. I don't think we needed that game or them to beat City for us to know that. Yeah, is Marseille in the Europa League this season? Do they play that way? That's good to know. I mean, I think that's the way you get at certain teams, especially City. But Fekir had the game of his life. He cannot play like that every week. He usually plays next. And see, that's the thing. I mean, people will say, "Oh, see, this is why we should get Fekir." Let's pump our brakes a little bit. He had a great game. We'll see how the rest of his Champions League season goes. But it's not a situation where it's like, "Oh man, that really opened my eyes." We know what he has about him. But like Mame says, it's one game, and that's not to say that he would do that every game for us. Now, if you can get a few games from that, we'd be good. And I think if we did have him, we'd have to find a role for him. You find roles, you find spots in the squad for a player like that. So, but yeah, I mean, I think he probably won't really admit it. And it almost like he almost slipped up and said, I wanted to prove that I didn't have a serious knee injury to Liverpool. But hey, maybe we'll see Leon at some point in this competition. I don't know. Again, you like to think City would get through that group somehow, but we'll see. Nicole says it's crazy this season. I'm more worried about Chelsea than Man City so far. Yeah, I'm not worried about anybody. I get what you're saying. And listen, we got to give Chelsea a little bit of credit. They're undefeated like us. They're above us. We can say they haven't played anybody. You beat who's before you. It doesn't matter who you're playing. You got to get the wins, because if they didn't win those games, then it'd be like, how do you lose to these teams? So give Chelsea credit. They're at a place that they look good enough. They look good enough to be leading the league right now. And so But I'm not worried about them, City, United, anybody. I'm not worried about anybody on the European stage or anything. I believe this team can beat anybody in the world on this planet. So, um, but the all or nothing, I want you guys' opinion. Do you think that, or would you have wanted Klopp to do the all or nothing? Are you disappointed that he didn't? Klopp spoke about it. We should have saw this coming anyway. Apparently, the club was open to it. Um, but Klopp has already spoken about not wanting to do it. If you guys go back to his it must have been a pre-match interview. Somebody asked him about it. He said he would definitely not do it. It doesn't surprise me that Klopp is a guy who's deciding not to jump on the board with that. I mean, that's not something that I feel like he would want to do, and I don't knock him for it. So, Jason says Chelsea looked okay yesterday. Their goal was a bit shaky. They looked okay. I mean, and they only beat that team 1-0. I don't know who they started. Listen, Chelsea can look good all they want. They haven't played Liverpool yet. So once they play us, I think we'll really see what they're made of. And teams could say the same thing about us. Maybe they're thinking, well, we'll see when they play Chelsea. Because maybe beating Tottenham and beating PSG isn't enough. Maybe people still think, oh, it's the same with Liverpool. They'll fall against Southampton. They'll fall against some weak team when they shouldn't and get caught slipping. So we'll see. Actions obviously speak louder than words. So we are on the verge of breaking a record, folks. 7 straight games will break the record. I think we're on board with the 1961-62 team, of course, managed by Shankly. Um, but I think we'd be the first to go 7 straight, which is a little surprising. Um, but yeah, I think that's something that is obviously achievable and something that we should be fighting to get. Not just that, but just continuing to win. It just so happens that it'll be a record, but we need to be continuing to keep up this positivity as we go through these games and make it a reality that we are contenders on all levels. Like Virgil van Dijk says, he wants to win everything, and that's not something that should be such a shock to hear him say. I think he's an ultra confident type of player. I think we're blessed to have him. So on to Southampton, though. Listen, Mark Hughes has come out and said that they can trouble us without Danny Ings. Really? Oh, Shane Long. Okay. Charlie Austin, right. They got Redmond. What's the guy? Mohamed Elasoy. Elasoy. I don't know how to pronounce his name. Sorry. Hoiberg. Lamina. Nicole says, I wasn't sure how long the record was. I was curious. Yeah. It's been since the 60s. So long time coming. And like I said, it's kind of surprising to me that it's been that long since we've gone 7-0. Without a draw or anything like that. But again, if nothing else, that shows you where this team is right now, at least in my mind. But Southampton, listen, they have some pieces here and there. It's a Mark Hughes team. His teams, all due respect to him, they never really worried me. Mark Hughes is one of those guys. Should comment. Jason says, I got a good feeling this season. The mid-table teams have been a problem for us for years. Looks like we're finally getting over that curse. Yeah, and we'll see tomorrow. They'll probably do a 4-4-2. Mark Hughes has been one of those guys, kind of been in between a guy who wants to be kind of defensive and then he also wants to be attacking. They coined the phrase "sexy Stoke" when he was with them. We see what that got them, not much. But Stoke used to be a team that teams didn't want to go play. More so under Pulis, but they had that identity. Obviously not in the league anymore. But Southampton have some players. We saw what happened with them against Brighton. Lost their heads. I think they were up 2-0 and then gave a penalty away at the end and they got a draw. So, hats off to Brighton and what they're doing. But let's be honest, this should be a game that Southampton come to Liverpool and leave very, very disappointed, very, very much so embarrassed. This should be a game that we can hopefully try to find some joy in our attacking play. And not just joy, though, but actually have a finished product. I said 3-0, but I wouldn't be surprised if it was 4 or 5-0. This might be a game where you see Salah get off the mark. You may see Mane get a couple of goals. You may see Van Dijk from a set piece, which I think we need to. We in that game against PSG, we had so many set pieces. I don't know the stats. I don't know how many we had in that game, but in the first 5 to 10 minutes, we had at least 8. I think 5 to 8. It had to be somewhere around there. It was almost like we were getting a set piece corner every time we touched the ball. So. Those are and we've gotten goals from them from this season, and so that's good. We've gotten a couple, if not more. So, but I want to see more of that. I want to see more of that. When you know you can score in different ways, it allows you to be a bit more comfortable. and as a supporter watching the game, it's like, okay, I know we can score from a corner or two, whether it be a set piece out on the pitch, whether it be a corner, whatever the case may be. Milner's got it pretty set at the penalty shot situation. I think he's by and large the designated penalty taker, and rightfully so. And again, as I said before, the games that he scores, his teams don't lose, and that's been the situation since he's always been in the Premier League, which is really really big. But Southampton, again, they shouldn't really enjoy much of their football. You know, they would have been watching Liverpool in the Champions League, knowing what they had to play them this weekend. They would know of how well we've been doing this season, how many clean sheets we've done, and they'll be just trying to squeeze something out of the game, try to suffocate us, frustrate us, the low block or parking the bus, whatever you want to call it. And it's another test, right? Because I think there's still some of us in the fan base who feel like we need a Coutinho kind of player, or missing Ox is really that much of a detriment, and because we don't have enough ball carriers, whatever. And some of those things are true, mainly the ball carrier thing. When we have Naby in the game, which I think he'll be back, I can't imagine him missing 2 games back to back, although I know different competitions. Mami, I think there will be a rotation in midfield after the intensity against PSG. Yeah, very much. That could be very true. And if that is the case, who do you think comes out? Is that Hendo back out and Naby back in? Nicole, it's nice that it's home game. It is. Nobody wants to come to Anfield. Extra reassurance that we can keep up the streak. Yeah, I think we can, and that's true. I think in any competition, nobody wants to come to Liverpool. I think Chelsea's coming to us in the cup game, and I'm sure they're not looking forward to that. Then again, there are some teams like Southampton who go into things like, look, we have nothing to lose here. We're not expected to win. Let's try to come jam them up. Let's try to be physical with them, frustrate them, get a guy thrown off maybe, get the manager sent to the stand, bait guys into bad decisions, tackles, whatever the case may be. Go down easy in the box, pull and tug in the box, which we've been getting a lot of that and haven't been called. So, again, people, when it's us on the other end of not getting calls, we're upset, and so will other teams be as well. And I think when you're playing as well as Liverpool is playing, I've spoken about this before, Klopp always speaks about this, you make your own luck. So, did we have lucky moments in the PSG game? Maybe. Most of that was just pure us being sensational, I think. Did we have some luck in the game against Tottenham, not getting that penalty on Mane late? Yeah, probably. But you got to make your own luck. So, does anybody know Ox is due back? No, I don't. Anyone who does, let me know. But I don't know how anybody could. I don't know if the club has really released anything. By all accounts, it seems as Ox is getting better. So I guess that's positive news. It's better than him getting worse. But yeah, I mean, I think once he's back, obviously that's so much better for us. Bro, I'm starting to not worry about the attack too much. Yep, considering how solid the defense is this season. I've been saying that, yeah, might not blow away teams, but we got enough quality to get, yeah. I'm just saying I think this is a game, almost like this is like a free hit almost. It should be, like the West Ham game. These teams you should be dominating. And the thing is, there's a lot of teams that maybe we shouldn't have, but we did, but we didn't have the goals to show for it. And that's the thing. I'm ultra confident now, more than ever before, really. Even when we had Suarez and, the amazing goals that we got with Salah last year. With this team, defensively that, I mean, we're pretty stout. We're pretty stout. And so, this idea of the bubble will burst at some point, I don't know that. Logically, if we're going to go back to Tuchel's frame of talking and thought process, the chance of us going undefeated in all competitions is insane, right? It's crazy. It's never been done before, and so who knows? But I'm not looking forward to the bubble bursting. I don't think anyone else is, but I'm also not thinking this is going to come to an end at some point. If you treat every game as its own game, don't look ahead. Just focus on those. Then it's each game. It's one battle each week, or a few during the week. Because we got a lot of games coming up. But every game is its own game. There'll be different tactics for different teams. Obviously, different players, different rotations for different teams, different setups. Different guys will show up and score goals. So, but again, yes, I agree with that. I mean, when we're not at our ultimate best, although we have in certain games, we just haven't gotten the finished product. It's nice to see that we can win in different ways. We can D up, we can shore out games, And again, it's just amazing that that's something I'll never forget for as long as I live. Just that moment of the perseverance, not hanging our heads. And again, there's another, and maybe it's the number on the back of Allison's shirt, starting from the goal, going. Maybe that 13 is just lucky. Maybe we just been handed not a great keeper, but like a specially touched individual. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. There was talk about him getting a number one from Carius. He didn't do that. He stuck with 13. I don't know. I don't know. But there's this really strong sense of confidence, and there's no panic in the team that we are used to seeing. Not to heap all the praise on one player, but Reggie Van has been a gift. He has, and I think it's fair to put praise on him. I think he's slowly but surely showing the level that he is. People are saying that he's the best in the world. There's some good center backs in the world, and I think once we start to win things, then I think that's something you can kind of get behind. Um, I think he's definitely, let's say, top five. But once we start to win things, I think we can then start to say what we're the best at. Because at this point, we haven't done much. We've had a really good run so far, and I pray and hope, and I'm pretty optimistic that it will continue. But until that happens, I personally am going to just kind of pause and pump brakes on that one. Does anybody know what's the official objective of the club this season? The official objective, I would say, same as every season. It should be to win everything you can. I guess you're saying, are we putting more of our eggs in the basket for Champions League or Premier League? And I don't know. I want us to go for everything. Obviously, the league is one thing that we've never done. That's just facts. The other competitions, I'm sure we've won here and there, whatever. But the league is something we haven't done. So I can understand people who say we need to focus more on the league. But for me, you got to go for everything. You got to go for everything. That's why you build up a squad. Nicole says VVD has the force of two men. Yeah, he does. But also, you say that, and it's the thing that's so beautiful between him and Gomez is that they have each other's back. If one slip it, now we have now the game against PSG, we saw some mistakes. One with the and it's you don't want to really knock guys really because they've been so great defensively. But Andy Bobby, I don't know what happened. He probably could have got a better body block on that shot from their fullback. The second one, there's a breakdown. Muhammad gives the ball away. The defenders are there. We don't quite get to where we need to get to stop that. But you've also seen more so, by and large, them covering each other. I think Gomez is a bit faster than Virgil van Dijk. Maybe not by a country mile, but slightly faster, slightly quicker. And you've seen them both. You've seen Gomez make game-saving protection saves, blocks for Van Dijk. So that's the thing. They got each other's back. You can tell they're probably really cool off the field. So, yeah, I mean, he is like two men. But again, like Virgil van Dijk has said, it's not just about him, and it couldn't be just about him. It's the whole defense, and that's what's. I mean, when is the last time we've had a back four that we can be this proud about? I mean, two fullbacks I don't think we've ever had a season where, in my lifetime, that we look at the fullbacks and you think, man, these guys are great, both of them. I mean, that most teams can't say that. In the Premier League, in the world in general, most teams can't say they have two amazing fullbacks. So yes, but from where? Nicole, he should be a character on Game of Thrones. I agree, everything. Who's better football with talent-wise, Shaqiri or Salah? That's a good question. That's a really good question. Some people might have an obvious Salah reply. Um, that's tough. Maybe Shaq. I mean, obviously, you're just talking about scoring goals. You put Salah there just based on this last season, and he's probably more of a goal threat. But just skill, maybe Shaqiri. I don't know on that. You got me stumped on that one. I got to sit on the fence on that one. I'm not sure. But what I am sure about is that I would love to see Shaqiri more. And again, we spoke about it before. It's just nice to see. Mommy said had this. You would say Shaq. Yeah, that's a tough one. I feel like I'm leaning towards Shaq, but I just can't. Listen, if Salah was on Mark this season, I don't think anybody would be going against him, right? Or maybe some people would be. Because I think because he was so lethal scoring goals, people forgot about the skills he actually has. And there's talk about him being tired. I don't know why he would be more tired than anyone else in the front three or anyone else on the field for that matter. It's not like Egypt made it to the semifinals. I don't know what he's tired about. And I'm sure he would have had some kind of rehabilitation and some kind of rest with that shoulder injury. Is he not going full speed and reaching the potential we know he has because of the injury? It does feel like he's shying away from physical contact. It does seem like it's easier to pluck the ball off him, which I don't like. So if that's the case, we need to figure something out. And we, meaning the club, you got to work with them, and get him out of that funk. If those are the reasons, Salah reminds me of Adebayor. Wow, no standout ability besides his obvious pace, but when they're on their game, they do everything right. Okay. Nicole says Mo just needs to find his rhythm and ask that question. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you gotta, but he gave the ball. I think he lost the ball 20 times in the game. I think the stat was. Maybe I'm way off, but I think it was 20. But it just seems very much so easy to pick the ball, pluck the ball off him these days. So I don't know. But again, every game is another opportunity for him to get back in the groove. And again, like I said, he's doing some really really good things, even though he's not scoring goals. He does not look obviously back to what we saw from last year. But again, people seem to forget he lost a lot of chances last season. He missed a lot of chances last season, and he ended up with tons of goals. So again, I can't stress enough. I'm not concerned about him. I'm not. Did you see Fakir's goal versus All or Nothing FC? I love that people jump on board with the All or Nothing FC. Yeah, I saw the goal. I saw the assist as well, and both were really good. And the way they press the ball is very similar to what Liverpool do against City, and that's how they got him. That's how they got him. Now they make all kind of excuses. Oh, Pep was on the sideline. That's still Pep's team. What I did see that was eye-opening is that they better start playing Leroy Sané. Okay, did you see the second half? They better start playing Leroy Sané, and they had chances to win that game. So look, listen. To me, City is not a contender in the Champions League. They're just not. So Coutinho was a big factor in getting Salah started last season. Yeah, I guess that's probably true. Maybe, but I don't think that there's a significant amount of time that Coutinho wasn't there, obviously. And it wasn't like all the assists to Salah was from Coutinho. So listen, maybe that's true. I don't know. I've never been a huge Coutinho guy, so maybe I'm a little partial to that, to be negative on that. But you're right. He looks like a shell of himself. So I think Salah will be fine. He's got to work some things out mentally, and try to get over that. If it's the feeling of him not wanting to risk an injury again, you got to get past that and just play, because that's when you make mistakes. When you're playing scared, playing not to have an error or too careful or too cautious, that's when you make mistakes. And he's a professional athlete, so he knows that. As far as the changes in the squad, I kind of started on that last video and didn't really go much further, I don't think. So I'll go with that now. Obviously, the keeper retains his or keeps his spot. The back four to me also as well. I think Klein may come in the cup competition. It'd be nice to see what he has. Besides what we saw in preseason, maybe even Alberto Moreno in that game. But I think for this game, same back four. In the midfield, I think you could say the same three. But I think Hendo comes back out, and you put Naby back there, and you put Genie back at the 6, and then Milner and Naby. I think Milner's just... I felt Naby was undroppable, but now I'm feeling like there's so many players on our team that's undroppable, especially in the midfield. Genie just looks such an improved player in a few months. It's crazy how he's just seemed to just improve, him and Milner, obviously. So I think Naby comes in. I just can't see Naby sitting out again a full game. He didn't get 1 second against PSG. But again, there's a togetherness in this squad that it just feels like nobody's really, bothered by that, if they're not playing, because they know the bigger picture, and they know they'll get their time and get their minutes, and they know that they have to, step up. And that's the thing. There's no, no one can... People have to fight to get at least a 7 out of 10 every game, because your spot can be gone like that. You know what I mean? And luckily with Klopp, he's not that fickle. He's not going to drop you for that. But if he knows there's someone else working just as hard and thinking, okay, well, in this game I can put Shaqiri, I can put Fab or whatever. So, Jason, I love Genie in the 6. Makes some strange decisions in the attacking third. So, he does. But Genie's that wild card dude, man. He makes messed up decisions, but he also can make headers from that distance. You know what I mean? It has the goalkeeper going into the goal to try to save the ball. So Genie's been big this season. Who's better? The better dribbler, Mane or Keita? Mm, tough question today, Mercy. You're killing me. Yeah, probably Mane. I would say the better dribbler. Um, but I think Keita's not far away. Um, I think in tight spaces, I think Keita's a bit bigger. He's a bit shorter to the ground, and um, but Mane is really, really good at dribbling, and I think it's an underrated characteristic and skill that he has. To be honest, people just think Mane is a fast guy, and they don't think he's very cerebral. They don't think he's a good dribbler. Um, he can shoot from on both feet. People just look at Mane as a speed merchant. He's African. He can run fast. The P and P, the pace and power thing, like your boy Craig Bellamy said the other day, which yeah, it's no surprise now. You just carry on. But it doesn't shock me that white pundits say things like, "Oh, the French league is a decent league. There's a lot of African players, a lot of pace, a lot of it's just." I mean, African players are not just based around pace and power and speed and quickness. A lot of them are smart as well, just like other players. So, but yeah, I don't understand why they don't talk about Monty more. Yeah, and that's fine. At the end of the day, yeah, sometimes you sit back and say, why don't they give us more respect, or our players, certain players, more respect, or our manager, or whatever. We've got to go and earn that, though. That's something we got to remember. We have to go and earn that. And you can disagree with me if you want, but we have not earned that. 6, 7 games in, it's not earning that yet. And so that's why I say, although it'd be nice to hear it, it's also kind of nice not to hear it right now and to hear the direct opposite, because it makes me think, okay, the boys got to show it. And when we do, let's see what people are saying then. But it's up to us. It's up to this team, up to this squad, to not just be a flash in the pan and just be a 6-game wonder. It's up to us to take these games seriously, all of them, and try to fight for every stage, every competition, every game, every minute, every second of every game. We have to give our all. And so as long as we're doing that, and as long as we are continuing in this right way and playing football and beating these teams and controlling games by and large, then we shouldn't have any issues. Will Danny Ings play against us, or he's on loan? Yeah, no, he's not going to play. He won't be eligible to play against Liverpool, which again for them I think is a loss. But Hughes thinks differently, so and he should. I don't expect him to come out and say we're missing Danny Ings, so we definitely have no chance. But that's actually the case. I don't think they have a chance. But you never know. That's why you play the games. So Southampton could pose some issues for us. It'll be interesting to see another team who sits back and see how we can break that down. I'm looking to see Naby be a little bit more assertive, and as far as that's concerned. But also our center backs coming up deep, trying to pinpoint balls, penetrate the defense. The fullbacks continuing their good crossing, especially Robbo. And maybe some guys getting off the mark and getting back into a groove. Salah, Mane. But at the end of the day, I always say this. I don't care if it's 1-0 from a header from Gomez. I'll take it. Again, this defense gives me so much confidence going into games where I feel like I always thought we could beat teams based on our attacking flair. But even more so now, knowing that with that, but even if we don't, in light of that, we still can get victories with the defense. So, no, Ings is not playing. Ings is not playing. Unless I got it wrong. From everything I've seen, the Southampton manager, what I've read, Ings is not playing. So we'll see. But Jurgen Klopp will be on shortly, so I'm going to hop off and go check on that. Thank you for the 7, 8. It kind of fluctuate from all the people that were on today. Let me give you guys a shout out so you guys know I definitely value you here. Mercy, Mame, Nicole. It's been good to see you a lot recently, Nicole. I know you were a new subscriber, new friend of ours, so nice to see you. Jason, yes. Who else we got on here? I think you guys are the main ones that have been here with me. Appreciate you guys. There was someone else, though. If I forgot your name, please forgive me. Yeah, Nicole, Mame, Jason, Nova. I think that's it. If I forgot you, please forgive me. Naby looks like he's trying to impress too much. Would like to see him a bit more control. I don't see it that way. I don't see it that way. I mean, people might say that from the kind of turn he put on the guy at Palace, but I don't see that. I mean, I think every player wants to impress, I don't think he's trying to any more than the next guy. Um, yeah, I don't know where Dom is, man. I haven't seen him in a little while. Um, who is Southampton's best player? Good question, Nicole. Hoiberg's been pretty good for them. Lamina, I mean. Who's their best player? I don't know. Maybe Romeo? Ings is like their best scorer right now, but overall player, I think Romeo probably, I would say. Um, the fullback. I was gonna say Redmond, not Redmond. Oh God, somebody help me out. What's the guy's name? The fullback. Can't think of his name. Redmond. No, it's not Redmond. It's not Redmond. Redmond's attacking player. Um, Bertrand. Bertrand's a fullback. So that's a good question, Nicole. I don't know. I don't know. Who do you guys think besides Ings? Cedric? Yeah, Cedric's good too. Yeah, I think Romeo is their best all around player. I think really good midfielder for them. Strong. Lamina's good as well. Charlie Austin could do some things here and there. Shane Long. That's an interesting one. I'd like to ask the Southampton fan and see what they think. Um, but yeah, let's plan on let's hope that the boys can continue in winning ways. And maybe this is one that we get a bunch of goals in. Score prediction before you go. Sure, I'll do that. And then I didn't say the front three. Obviously the front. I'm not bringing in Shaq personally. I thought. See you later, Nicole. Um, Jason says 2-0. I thought about it all week. I've been thinking maybe I can see the reason why we would, what reason why we wouldn't. But I think Salah's not a guy you want to drop right now. If he is struggling with confidence or what have you, um, basically, how he reacted to throwing a water bottle, being upset that he could have cost us the game. Nicole 3-1, nice, okay. Um, but I don't think you sit him right now. I don't think you sit him right now. Should Sturridge start? So I'm going Firmino, Salah, and Mane. I think Sturridge could though. I don't know if Klopp, everyone would have saw Firmino with his goggles on. Um, I think Klopp. What did Klopp say? David. What's the Dutch player that had him? David. Or David. David. I forget his name. The guy who wore the goggles, the black Dutch player. But front 3-1 change. Mama says, yeah. So it depends. It depends on that eye situation. Like I said, Firmino's eye just opened up the day of the game, and he was like, okay, I'm good. Edgar Davis, thank you, Edgar Davis. So what's up, Matt? Good to have you in. But I can see but probably I think it'll be our usual front three. Score prediction I'm going with 3-0. I just see another clean sheet. We'll do another one. We shouldn't have allowed the goals in the Tottenham game, in my opinion. And obviously, we're having it at Leicester. So I want to see us get back to getting clean sheets, and especially against teams like this. Again, it should be like a West Ham walkthrough, in my opinion. So that's it for me, guys. Appreciate all of you. Let me give it just another roll call. Shout out for the guys who were here. Oh, the press conference started. Okay, let me get out of here. Jason, Matt, Mame, thank you. Mercy, Nicole. Did I say Jason already? Nova. All of you guys. Again, if I first know. See you soon.